Hello students, I have a little story for you. Today I was at the mall. It's a very small mall, and I was sitting there when I overheard somebody who was at one of the places to buy food asking about veganism. So, just saying, is it vegan, this thing, is the tofu vegan? Can you make it vegan? Can you remove this? And I really want to make sure it's vegan. So of course my ears just perked up, and I went over and I stood next to the person, and it was him and I guess it was his wife or partner, anyway. And the two of them had gray hair, and they looked like they were about my age, maybe a bit older, maybe 5 years older or something like that. And I said, hey, I'm just really curious. I heard you talking about veganism, and I had just been, at the time, editing a video on my phone. And I said, hey, I was just editing a video, and I'm really curious. I've been vegan for over 5 years. How's it going? And he said, oh, it's going good. I've been vegan for 12 years. And then the woman said, oh, well, I'm not vegan, but I've been vegetarian for a long time too. And I started to not focus on her, because anyone who follows this channel knows how I feel about vegetarians. They know about what happens to the animals, but they keep paying for the abuse. And I find that vegetarians are just the worst. They are people I don't respect or admire at all. But it was weird because she seemed like she was the one who kept trying to talk to me. She's like, oh yeah, I do a lot of posts on Facebook and all this stuff. And I sort of said, well, that's great, but I focused on him. And I said, so how's it going? What made you decide to become vegan? And he said, well, I went in Manitoba a while back, and I saw what goes on in the farms, and it just really upset me how they treat all the animals, the chickens and the cows and all that. And then the woman kept barging in, and she said, yeah, and I saw the documentary Cowspiracy. So I thought, okay, I can't let this go. So I looked at her and I said, okay, so you've seen Cowspiracy? And she said, yeah. And I said, so you know what happens to the baby cows, that they're murdered in the industry? And she said, yeah. She said, well, I don't actually eat a lot of non-vegan foods. And I said, well, what do you do? She said, well, I just have Parmesan cheese every once in a while. And I said, okay, so only once in a while you pay for the murder of these baby cows, because that's what happens in the industry. You know that because you saw Cowspiracy. And she said, well, it's not that often. And I said, why do you do it at all? And she said, well, I just think that I'm doing pretty good. And I said, well, I don't think you're doing good at all. I think you're a hypocrite. And she just said, well, I don't need to be preached to by you. And she left. But he kept standing there. And he kept talking to me. He said, I'm vegan for the right reasons, and I do feel a bit bad, he said, because she's not vegan. And I said, well, do you ever talk to her about it? Like, are you tough enough with her? And he said, well, I don't believe in being like assertive or aggressive like you are. And I said, well, why not? And he said, well, because I don't think it works. And I said, well, how is your method working? You've been together for years and you still let her get away with that. How's it going? And he sort of said, yeah, good point. I said, look, my best friend I was in the same situation as you. My best friend wasn't vegan, and eventually, after a few years, I said to him, look, I'm giving you an ultimatum. You either become vegan or I'm never talking to you again. And that, I know, to many of you listening, you're going to think to yourself, that is so mean, that is so cruel. But the truth is that was so right. It was the right thing to do. I gave him the ultimatum. I said, look, you know what happens. You've seen the documentaries, you've seen Earthlings, you've seen Cowspiracy, you've seen Forks Over Knives. You know that you can be healthy as a vegan. You're a hockey player, you are a smart guy, you're an engineer. You can totally be vegan, so why the fuck aren't you vegan? I said, don't call me ever again. Don't text me, nothing, until you're vegan. I said, try it, at least try it for a month. If you want, you can check in with me after that. So that was it. After I hung up, I burst into tears because, of course, I didn't want to lose that friendship. But I felt really in my heart that it was the right thing to do. Tough love is so important sometimes. And it's hard to know when to apply it and when not to. And it was really sad because I thought, okay, he probably thinks I'm really mean. But after 3 days, I got a text. And it said, I've been vegan for 3 days. And I looked at it And then I cried again, because most of you know I kind of cry at really happy moments and really sad moments. I was like so happy. I was like very skeptical, so I called him right away and I said, is this true? Are you like serious right now? He said, yeah. I said, and are you gonna continue? And he said, yeah. So I told the guy that story in the shopping center. I left it at that. I said, it might not be the right time for you to do that, to offer this to whoever you're with as an ultimatum, but maybe it is, because clearly your way is not working. And he said, I hate confrontation. And I said, it's not a confrontation, it's just an ultimatum. Now, I know that many of you watching right now are teenagers and you have no choice. You are stuck with people, you are dependent on your parents. You can't just say, hey mom and dad, if you're not vegan, I'm not talking to you again. It's not gonna work, right? So you have to choose that method very carefully. But I encourage you to keep going. Always talk about the animals. Anytime you hear the word vegan somewhere and your ears perk up, go and say hi to them. Listen to them at first. See how it's going. Now this guy, I would have loved to have interviewed him, but he's actually he lives in Kingston right now, so they had to go back to Ontario. But for sure I know I made a click with him. I could tell by the look in his eyes. And remember, it takes 100 clicks to become vegan. You got to get the message in your head and in your heart. Did I resonate with the woman? I don't know, maybe. Usually if someone's that pissed off that they storm off, it means they felt something. And maybe she'll stop eating cheese. I don't know. That's not in my control. All I can do is control what I do. And if I know that my heart is in the right place, and I said to him at the end even, I said, look, I'm really sorry if I offended your friend or even you, but I just feel it's my duty to speak out when I hear something. And congratulations to you on what you do. And so I'm going to conclude by telling you all, congratulations to all of you who are being tough out there, who are brave enough to be vegan, perseverant enough, and kind enough to do the best thing for the animals. They are never there to thank you. You will never get any thanks, and you will just be ridiculed a lot. But you know in your heart you're doing the right thing. And if you stick at it like I do, I have 142,000 followers now. I know a lot of them hate me, but they're getting it, slowly but surely. And every day people are telling me, thank you. Thanks for keeping on going out there. And people are always telling me, how do you do it with so much hate? And it is hard. It's not easy, but what choice do I have? If I was the victim, if I was behind bars right now on my way to a gas chamber or to have my throat slit, I would not want Miss Katie to give up, ever. So that's why I'm here. Thank you all for being here. Really appreciate it. Coming up on screen are going to be a bunch of other videos. I'm taking my glove off because I have to press the red button. Coming up on screen are going to be a bunch of videos. Have a look at them. Please subscribe. Press the notification bell and help me get all these innocent animals out of hell. Thank you so much. Bye guys.